Hello, 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 everyone. Today is Monday again. It's Monday, fun day. You ready? You ready for today? Who is it saying they not ready for Monday? Come on, it's Monday. It's fun day. It's have fun day. Okay, so I was talking to my dad earlier, just chewing the fat, just chewing the fat. There's a lot of stuff going on. So um he was like, "Oh, I saw what you said about me being disgruntled, about being fussy." You just gotta love older people. I do. I don't know about you, but I love older people. I always make a point to talk to my elders. But anyway, um, spend time with your elders today. If you haven't, find an elder, spend time, quality time. Hello, Matthew. Hello. We're just waiting for more people to come on. I don't want to get into the topic too deep, and everybody jumps in at the last minute, like, "Oh, well, what's happening? What's happening? What did I miss?" Hello, Sean Anthony. Hello, graduate. This your big week right here. I've cleared my schedule. I'm not doing anything other than graduation stuff. Okay, graduation stuff. And for all the graduates out there, I have so many family members and loved ones who are graduating this season. Okay, this is graduation season. I have so many out there who are graduating. I just want to say I am so happy for you. Keep up the good work. And I'm watching. I see y'all dressing, y'all styling and profiling and going to your proms and all the occasions that you're you know, stepping up your dress code game. I see you, I see you. Got a nephew out there, Geo. Yeah, I see you, nephew. I see you. I got Z out there. I see you, Z. Congratulations. Chantel, I see you, honey. Who else? Outside of Sean Anthony, CJ, I see you. I see you. Um, it's so many. I hate to say that I missed anybody because being when the camera is on you, you are totally different. Okay, it's like bright lights, cameras, action, and you're like, oh Lord. At least me, because I'm more of a background person. I've been a background player for all of my well, not all, but off and on, more often than not, I've been in the background. And now I'm coming out of the background, and I don't know. It's a difference. It's a difference. I never liked being in the spotlight. I like better to, just be in the background. The background doesn't care, like hair don't care, natural hair don't care. Being in the background, no one cares. No one cares. You're in the background. Just just be in the background. But anyway, so today we're gonna talk about everyone's been asking me about school, and I haven't really said anything more so than I have a dissertation to write, and it's about school. um, I would like to approach it in a positive manner because it's been so much darkness surrounding school, the traditional brick and mortar type schools. So I want to bring a more positive light, but I need help to be positive about it. So what am I saying? I'm saying that it's not a lot of positive stuff you could say about it. That's what I'm saying. It's not a lot of positive stuff you could say about it, but I would like to. So the more people get involved, the more we can change things to make things more positive. Okay, so today we have to add in um, some historical facts to go along with what's going on with today's show. Okay, so y'all bear with me. This is new. This is new. And I'm trying not to put too much out there because I don't want anyone to have a stigma about what I'm doing. Don't just keep an open mind. We've already talked about self help, where you can start to see a lot of the things that you could fix on your own. When we did the pyramid for hierarchy of needs based on the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. So you can, so you see, I'm doing steps here. So with that step, we recognize some things that we can change about ourselves or help improve about ourselves, I should say. Um, that I hope you have watched that series. It was a long series, and then most recently I talked about self-soothing, And I had a little fun with it. I brought on some props. And my father was, of course, making fun of that like everybody else. My dad doesn't exactly comment in the comments. He does it by phone. He old school. He old school. So he does it by phone. So everybody's clowning me on the props. But y'all saw it. Y'all liked it. Y'all liked it. That's all I'm saying. And you got the point. Everybody got the point. So as long as you got the point and everybody understood, then job done, right? Right? Job done. So I want to get this point across, and it's a little dismal, but it's to show a progression. As always, I'm always showing a progression. So stick with me here. I want to add in the show. So a lot of people were asking about school, and they're saying various things, and I'm like, you can't understand where to go from here if you don't know where you've been. You can't move forward because you don't know which direction you're going in because you don't know the history. You don't know the history, and if you don't know the history of it, how can you know when you're moving and making progress instead of doing the same moves? People get tired of the cycle, and that cycle that people are in is messing with people's well-being, their mental well-being. America was first thought to be a big melting pot where humans can coexist and contribute the better parts of themselves to build one great America. And since that's not happening with the efforts that everybody has contributed, it's messing with a lot of people's mental well-being. So you need to know which way is forward and which way is backward. So you know which how to go forward. What came first? So we already did this. Somebody who's just coming in on the scene trying to change things and help improve things, they'll say, well, you guys, y'all need to have a conversation. And they sitting there like, you just came in here. Of course we had a conversation. You don't come into the middle of something and say, oh, well, y'all need to talk. We've already talked. And that's how we're here. So don't keep saying the same thing because that's annoying. Okay. So we already know that we've talked about this and we've tried it and it hasn't worked. So we're moving on from just the conversation. They say, well, put police into the schools and that'll help. Okay, but remember, we already did that at one point. We brought police in to help with school segregation. And as you can see, this is where we have evolved to. We didn't just jump here, we didn't just start here. We've already had the problem where people did not want certain things in their schools, but we had to learn to coexist. And that was the objective. That is the focus. That is the goal. So you can see a lot of, in this slide here, there's a lot of innocent people then. Those are just children. And there's innocent people now in these schools with these children. They're children. They're innocent people, but we all have to learn to live together and work together. And we don't want to have to be escorted to and fro. Okay, so we've already tried that. So that's not working. And it's not to say that we don't want it to work. We are cooperating, but children didn't decide to be born. But every day they're making the tough decision to try to make the best out of the life they were given. Okay? So that's one thing we have to understand. Children are the future, and they're doing the best they can to make every day. They're making that hard decision. Do I keep fighting this battle? Do I keep doing this? And we have to understand their mental state and where they are mentally because there's a lot of school shootings going on, and a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't even know. I didn't know. Yes, we did know. We did see. We saw the cyberbullying going on. We saw the in-school bullying, and we thought, okay, it's just another platform for them to be bullying because on the playground, that's where they bully people and all of that stuff takes place. But it's not right. Doesn't make it right. So we have to address these things and try to focus just a little bit more on fixing the problem instead of ignoring it and saying, oh, well, this is normal. This is normal. No, it's not. It is slowly taking away from our mental well being and is now being shown how damaging it is because schools have become a place nobody wants to go and for good reason because it's not safe for the innocent children, it's not safe for the staff, and it's not even it's becoming to the point where it's not safe for police either. But We're going to stick to the subject. So here we can see how a lot of people were saying protesting in person. We have now, they say, well, you need to protest in person like they did back in the day. Look, we did that. We sent in letters, we wrote letters and everything, and we said things like KKK police are not protection. So basically, we understood gaslighting. Okay, we understood gaslighting. We understood that we're being terrorized, as that one young man to the left, or no, to the right, has is terrorizing. We're being terrorized. And a lot of people act like we don't know that that's what's going on. All we're saying is we're not all in agreement with being divided. Stop giving folks protection like we don't understand it's phony. And stop trying to make it seem like everybody is in agreement with what's going on in the way we're sense that it's going. Because there's a lot of people, for example, I embody a great deal of multicultures, and I would like for everybody to get along. I get along with everybody. We can all get along with everyone, and that's the objective. We're all trying to improve together. This is not about an individual uh, movement towards a end goal. The end goal is for the majority of the people who want to improve together to be able to do so. And those people who don't want to do so, we're not stopping you from developing your own community and putting up the signs and let us know that that's the community that's just for you. No one's arguing that. We're just trying to move on together. And in this slide, you can see that a lot of people in that classroom, you can see Black women and white women. I know that's an unusual picture, but I wanted to pick that picture for a reason. Because women are the people who have always been battered and abused, no matter how many times you find a way to divide people. Women are the ones that's the most ones that's being separated and being divided, and they're being divided unnecessarily, because all the women are going through the same batter treatment, the same problems, and we need to overcome these things. And it's not just to say for a particular culture. It's everybody. We all need to be in on this together to move forward from the problems that we're having with our mental well-being. And we want better schools and better educations with the books. We've already stated that the plea for better schools is nothing new. It's nothing new under the sun. These things, the reason why I'm bringing these pictures up is so you can understand this is not new. It's just you that's being added to the problem. So now you have to come in, see the problem, understand what we've already done to solve the problem, and bring in something new to the table to help us move forward where we would like to be. These marches took place a long time ago. Jim Crow, we're talking about Jim Crow now. It's 2022. They're still trying to control women's bodies and do things that and that's why it was important to show that slide of all the women in the same boat, in the same classroom, because we're in this together. You're still trying to control our bodies. We're still fighting for our rights to be in school together, to have control over our own bodies, and to have control over our education and our mental health. All of this is encompassed in our mental health, our mental well-being. It's just being ticked away by putting it in different categories. And then you turn around and you look, well, I don't know how we got here. I don't know why you feel some type of way. I don't know why you flying off the handle, why you go postal. You know, you do know. And then you have these times where people go so far as to change the rules. They change the rules, and people say, well, how far does this go? How far does this go? Look, this says the federal government. Hey, Bobby, how you doing, bro? This goes as far up as the federal government. And a lot of people are saying, well, somebody should be able to help, somebody should be able to this and that. But you got to understand, it's not about this level. It's about every level that needs this positive change to take place. This was being called for many a years before 2022. It's alarming that schools will become so obsolete If they don't fix this, you the school would just be obsolete because nobody wants to attend the funerals of the innocent. At one point in time, they didn't want women to be in the military because they didn't want to attend women's funerals. But that's just the reality. That's just the reality of things. And we would like to change that. And that's what we're saying. Let's change it because it's messing with us mentally and physically. We're only together when folks choose to be together. And you know what? The pandemic brought a whole lot of people together. Unfortunately, I don't want it to be a pandemic every time we need to get together and make some positive changes that's permanent, that's lasting. And then here we see that we don't want it to be every time you go for a political what is it? Election, a political election, and then suddenly you on board with positive change. We don't want it to happen at that time. We want it before then. Get on board before then. Time out for when people were going to say, well, okay, well, this person is popular and they back me, so you can be on board with me because looky here, mm-mm. Time out for that. That's not happening. We can see that with the elections currently, where Trump is backing some people and the voters are like, yeah, I don't know, because I wasn't on board with it before, and now I'm really starting to figure that this isn't going to happen even now because of it. Yeah, because when people, it's funny because a lot of people, they feel like, oh well, now that I'm expressing that I'm racist or I have some implicit bias, people are going to treat me differently. This is what I say to that. If we got along famously before I knew what you were thinking, we could get along good now that I know what you're thinking. Hey, Sister Regina, how's it going, honey? Thank you for coming. Now, here we can see Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And some of you all don't know, but that over there on Dr. King's far left side is my Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred Shuttlesworth. You can Google him. He's done a lot of different things, helped with the NAACP, etc. But these were really great men. And the objective that they tried to accomplish is a seed that they planted. Okay, so it's not to say that they didn't accomplish their goal. They planted the seed, and we're growing it, we're nurturing it, we're watering this to grow. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and my Uncle Fred were good men who died showing the world the way forward is inclusion. Okay, so this is more my uncle when he got a little older, and you know that salt and pepper. I love that salt and pepper look, so I'm not mad. So anyway, uh, what I'm thinking is maybe what the world needed and what the world is waiting for is to realize that positive change is going to take place. But what's missing in all these pictures is the women. I remember Mary Poppins had a show and she was doing, and it was the women, all these women coming on. What maybe what we're waiting for it for to make positive, to realize positive change are the good women to tie all these good men's ideas of inclusion and unity together, because it is also the mother's sacrifice to bear the children, rear the children, and mourn the loss of the children when we lose our babies to all of this drama, all these negative things that they fall and prey to. People need to understand that this bias is, and it is. And it's sad that implicit bias is one of those things that's eating away like a cancer to our mental well-being. And everybody's trying to act like they don't understand what's going on. You understand. This is not news. It's not news. And it hasn't changed. What we need to do is make the positive changes permanent, because mothers are mourning their babies and it's driving them crazy. And that's not helping the rest of society, because those women are not being able to support these men and these children in the manner in which they need to, so you can move forward to positive endeavors. And the inclusion that we're talking about is right here in this slide. It's right here. We're this is the kind of inclusion we're talking about. Mental health included. And maybe you have to make mental health free. And that's fine. And because the objective is to be positive and move in positive um, ways forward. So we're talking about learning disabilities of all sorts. We're talking about mental disability. We're talking about segregation, integration, and inclusion. This is what we're talking about. And we don't want to dismiss anyone because these are the types of teachers and leaders and schools and business, etc., that globally have been found to be favorable. These are the ones that thrive. If you have a business, whatever kind of business that is, this is the key. Now, I gave it to you for free. This is the key to thrive, to go global. If you have a local business and you want to thrive and you want to make that business more successful and reach more people, you need inclusion. You need to showcase inclusion. You are not going to get anywhere being divided. No one wants that because no one wants to attach their name to that. No one wants to say, well, I was on board with that. A lot of people right now are backpedaling with this political campaigns that they're running because nobody wants to be associated with something that was dark, even though they had took part in it once before. So now they're trying to get out of that. Why? Because they want to be included. They want to move forward. Right now, we're talking about schools, and the schools are a war zone. That's why this young man here is saying school, not a war zone. It is though. We could teach hate. We teach when we teach hate, we teach indiscriminate violence against everything. And that's what a lot of people aren't understanding. You think that it's going to be secluded to one thing, and it's not. It's not. It's everything. Because children, students, and learners, they see what you are doing and they hear what you are saying and they blend it together whatever way they want to. So it's best to only support positive thoughts and behaviors no matter how you feel in the moment. Moments change. And that's what we're not understanding. Moments change and they could be they change faster than broken minds and wayward habits. And then where are the people who are out there doing all these things? They're like, oh, they're still stuck in that broken mentality that you put them in. You put them in that broken mentality, and you have to bring them out of that broken mentality in order for us to move forward safely. I'm tired of reading newspapers. Well, it's not physical newspapers, but news broadcasts. When you look at your emails or whatever, the first thing that comes up is a news broadcast, and I'm tired of reading in every platform and seeing it on social media everywhere, where everybody's not understanding where this problem is taking place. How did we get here? Why is this such a big problem? Yes, like Eddie was saying, you have to first recognize your own defects, and that's why these videos are progressive. That's why I encourage you to go back. If you missed some of those videos, go back so that we can start bringing this forward and moving forward in a positive manner. Because sitting back in the background, just talking to one or two head figures and getting some changes done in those manners is not exactly as helpful as you would imagine. Here's a link. Oh, there we go. And there's a link in the comments there for you where you can see um get more information because we like to be informative, not just be out here screaming to the top of our lungs for no reason, like we're screaming into an empty void. That's not the objective here. So moving on, we can see. I know you all have seen how these schools are going. Children are confused. There it's an uncertain future in that confusion. And the kids don't know if they even have a future. That's a problem. And that's a mental problem. We're not a replacement theory or hate for past racial instability, but inclusion, love, and unity for the sake of those of us who embody all the races and want to see us all just get along. It's an uncertain, confusing future for the children. This should not be the norm, yet it is. Turning a blind eye to the fuel Turn a blind eye to it only fuels the problem. We must only focus on positive things, positive aspects of everything. And I'm not saying we can't say the names of the victims who fall prey to these things, because yes, we should, but we need to continue to move forward because their death was not in vain. These babies who have died in school, their deaths were not in vain. And it's only if we don't, if we're not doing what we need to do, then their deaths were in vain. And here we can see they blacked it out right here, but that one that they blacked out, it was a picture of a child with a head wrap on that was crying. Hate does not have a target. It only has victims. And here you can see everybody wants this hate pandemic to end. It's a pandemic. Here they're saying it was epidemic, but it rose. It got worse. It increased. It's a problem. And I didn't know that they would black out that one picture of the child in bandages crying. But that's what we see every time we turn on the television. We see the kids running from the schools. We see the kids crying. And now we have funeral caskets, multiple funeral caskets, and it's not just one culture. It is everybody who is in school. Everyone is in school. This is not just, oh, well, that person hated that person, so that's the only person that everybody got hurt. There's studies out that are showing that when you have incivility in the workplace, everybody who witnessed it, everybody in the vicinity of it, even if they don't say that they saw it, even if they don't tell you how it impacted them, you'll see it in your bottom line. You'll see it in your bottom line because people are going to quit their jobs. Job retention is high. We're in a recession, and yet you have the highest number of people quitting their jobs. Why is that? Why is it? Because the instability that is taking place, everyone is seeing it, and everyone is negatively impacted by it, even though a lot of times it's mental, and the mental will manifest itself physically. And that's what you need to understand. Children are rebelling against common sense and their confusion, which is causing many of them to indulge in work behavior. Yeah, and we act like we don't know that. We act like we don't know that, Teddy. And that's the problem. If more of us get out here and start saying, "Yeah, we see it. We see Hamburglar." You know, you go to McDonald's, everybody's like, "Spot Hamburglar, spot Hamburglar." We see Hamburglar. Everybody screaming, point Hamburglar, Hamburglar. Yes, I go to these commercials because they're funny, but they're good. They're good examples. Teachers have a checklist. Yes, a lot of teachers, they do have these checklists, but a lot of teachers don't know how to implement these different checklists, and that's a part of my dissertation as well. But I'm going to get into that later because a lot of times we want to put the blame off on somebody, and the fastest person to put the blame off on is the teacher because she's right there in the classroom, or he. That's why a lot of men jumped out of the schools. They was like, you're not going to ruin my reputation. You're not going to ruin my name. You're not going to ruin my character and my livelihood. This is my livelihood. This is how I provide for my family. So you're not going to throw me under the bus like this is my problem. This is my fault. I didn't do this. I'm not blaming the teachers. I'm not blaming the teachers. The teachers need help, and I'm happy to see that there are a lot of young teachers who are out here. I saw this one young lady, and she put a lot of videos out showing why she quit her teaching job, and she loved her job, but she couldn't do it because all of the mental problems and things that's being perpetuated to break the mental well-being of those people who are mentally stable, and it's ridiculous. So we need to make sure that we are coming together to make these positive changes because these are the positive changes people want to see. And the only way that these positive changes are going to take place, we must first The show must go on. They kicked me out of here. I don't know what that's about. But I tell you one thing, I'm going to keep sharing this message, because a lot of people, they want these changes to take place, and they're tired of screaming in what seems to be a void. And nobody wants to keep screaming, help, 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 and they're not getting help. And that's why it's messing with our mental well-being. And here is that picture with the one that they blocked out. But the objective is to understand we all need help and how we're going to get this help. Here, the Dalai Lama says, we will never solve our problems. Wait, let me make sure that you're seeing this. Okay, it says, we will never solve our problems. And sorry about it being so unprofessional, but I had to get back on here. We'll never solve our problems um, simply by instituting new laws and regulations. Ultimately, the source of our problem lies at the level of the individual. If people lack moral values and integrity, no system of laws and regulations will be adequate. So long as people give priority to material values, then injustice, inequity, intolerance, and greed, at the outward manifestation of neglect of our inner values, will persist. It doesn't matter who said it. That's one thing I said on my show. It doesn't matter who is saying these things. It's true. And true is true because it's true. It doesn't matter who said it. It's true. So the Dalai Lama, when he said those statements, the thing that stands out is people always want to be the first one to say something. They want to be the ones to get credit for saying what they're saying. But it doesn't matter who's telling the truth as long as the truth gets told and it reaches the ears of the people who it needs to reach. Now, it doesn't matter um, uh, if you're happy about the truth, but there is a way you could tell the truth. All right, there's a way you could tell the truth that it can be more received, more well received, and that's what I like to do. Even though this is a dark topic and it's difficult, I like to try to bring the message in a manner where it is more helpful, because it's 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 telling you in a really delicate way. You know, it's telling you that we've already done this. We're not doing it anymore. A lot of people are saying help, help, help. And they're going through this system that I told you I don't like that word, because the system is a tool. Okay. And the tool is operated by a person who has the wherewithal, or should have the wherewithal, to know how to manipulate what we need to do in order to make this function smoothly. Okay. And we're not seeing that. And there goes a lot of people's mental well-being, where they're saying, well, I don't, they're going and saying things like, oh, I don't know why this isn't working. Then I have to do something more forceful. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it gets to be overbearing. And that's when you have a lot of people going out here and exacting their own manner of justice. Now, I'm not condoning that. I'm trying to stop that. I'm trying to avoid that. If we understand that you can't keep pushing under the rug that people are having these problems, you can't keep changing the rules and acting like, oh, just because you changed the title or the name of your building, that this is not the same company. We know it's the same company. And sometimes we'll patronize you just to see if you made any positive changes or desirable changes that will make it easier for us to work with you, to support you. But you have not. And there lies the problem, where you have a lot of frivolous lawsuits, but that was the past. Now these lawsuits are legitimate. These lawsuits are legitimate, and a lot of people are legitimately owed the money that they're suing for, because, yeah, you're causing damage. You're causing damage. What did that dude say? Um, anyway, it's a lot of these memes. I just love these memes, but I'm a lot of them slip my mind, be on the tip of my tongue, just can't get it out. But the emotional damage, yes, it's emotional damage. It's mental damage that if people are, they don't have the ability to say the right words, and that's what guided perspective is here for. We need to help give those people that aren't sure how to say these words that they need to say. We need to tell them the right words to say that describes exactly what they're going through so we can get towards the positive changes that we're trying to get to, because the objective is to get to the positive change. What did I tell you about the owl? The people are trying to get to the investment, what they invested for, and the owl took the sucker, and it didn't even tell the kid how many minutes it takes to get to the center of the sucker. But the answer was there; it was clear. When you get tired enough, you'll figure it out, and you'll make a way, even though it's not by licking the sucker that you get to the center. It's by biting it, being aggressive, by showing them, okay, well, that's your way of, getting to the center, getting to the good part. But I'm gonna make a shortcut because I don't have time for these games. But we need to make sure that when these people are making these shortcuts, that it's not by violence. It's not by violence. What did Teddy say? People are quick to diagnose it. And you know what? That's why we have to make sure that there's guided perspective out here, because everybody is not a narcissist, even though you have narcissistic tendencies or behaviors, but you're not a narcissist. Everybody doesn't have ADHD just because you have attention deficit to boredom. Okay? Let's just put it out there for real. A lot of times people just bored. And that's why this guy, with all the flash and glamour and all of that greatness, that's why people are paying so much attention to him, and he's not adding anything to you. Nothing positive to you is he adding. He's actually taking away, and he's making it so funny where you feel like, oh, okay, everybody else around you are laughing because you laughing. I'm not gonna bring up that situation where everybody thought it was funny until somebody had a mood swing, and then somebody came up and corrected it with violence. We want to get out of the mentality of making corrections um, via violence. Okay, we don't want to make it so that we're being violent to get our point across. We have to be violent. We have to say something disparaging about someone. What did Dustin say? Hey, Dustin, thank you for coming. Sorry about the problem with the getting kicked off. Idle time is a tool for, yeah, and a lot of people have said that, and so you'll be amazed at the people that don't know, still don't know. And that's why a lot of times it's important for us to keep repeating those things. A lot of people get tired of you repeating it, but it's necessary to repeat it because it didn't get through to somebody. Somebody didn't quite understand it. So when you use it in a different way and you keep repeating it and you using it in a different way, repeating it in a different way, somebody gonna catch hold that didn't catch hold of before. So that's why I look at a lot of TikTok videos and I'm like, oh man, that person right there, that was a good way to put that. There's this one young lady on TikTok, and she's even been on the news, where she goes out and she explains a lot of the current events that's taking place in a real plain manner. I love it. I love it because she's using a lot of the dialect that these young people are accustomed to today to bring the severity of these situations, these current events, and to bring awareness and clarity to what's going on. So there's no mind left behind. Okay. That's the objective. No mind left behind, because mental health is physical wealth. Okay. It is one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you can't put your fingers, you can't put your hands on mental wealth, mental health. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And it will manifest itself in a different way. And that's the objective. You can see um how it's improving things, how it's changing things, how innovative change is taking place. It started with a mental thought. It started mentally, and it manifested itself physically. A lot of people say, well, I don't understand how something intangible can be made tangible and how you can put a value on these things, because it's already been done. It's just news to you. And because it's news to you, we're pointing it out that it's not news. It's not news. A lot of times in the African American community, we see some things trend in the white community that's old school to the African American community, like breakdancing. That was hot. That was hot. Breakdancing, beatboxing, and all that stuff. It was hot. And after a while, it got old. And when it got old for our community, white people started doing it as if it was brand new. as if this thing just happened. And it's like, no, this is not new. This is not new. And a lot of times, for example, I was talking to my father today, and we were talking about how back in the day, slaves used to only get the scraps, and they slave masters thought they were funny by, kicking them down pig intestines. They say, you eat crap. You just eat this crap and you make the best of that. You survive off of this crap. Now, this is why they think that African Americans are magical. Because not only did they take those pig intestines and eat them to survive, they ate them and made it taste good. And not only did they make it taste good, they made it profitable. Imagine that. How did you just turn this? This is doodle. You just turned this doodle into a magical treat. What? Y'all magical. Y'all magical. Here, now take this. Take my trash and turn this trash into gold. And that's where you get the what do they call it? The thing where they say, oh well, somebody's trash is another person's treasure. These things aren't new. It's just a different way because you're a different player. You have a different mind. You're bringing something new to the table by bringing your mind to the problem. Okay? You're changing things in the manner that you are bringing something of yourself. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have a spirituality. I don't indulge in spirituality or things of that nature, but something's wrong with me. Something's wrong and I'm trying to get it better. I'm trying to improve it. I'm doing all these other things, but I'm not doing that. And I presented an episode where I said that you are mind, body, and soul, and you have to feed your whole man. You have to feed your mind, you have to feed your body, and you have to feed your spirit. So a lot of times, um, people they don't feed their spirit because they think they have to do it in one orthodox manner. You don't, because that's not agreeing with your mental health. That's going against your mental state where you feel like, well, this isn't working for me, so why are you going to keep turning me to Christianity? It didn't work for me. Why are you going to keep turning me towards Muslim? It didn't work for me. Why are you going to keep turning me towards Buddhism and Hinduism? And sometimes it's all of that you need, because now, as a lot of positive faiths have known to be understood to say, like the Bible said, um, they're wiser younger. What does that mean? That means that you may have been able to thrive generations ago by one method. Now that we are evolved and we are the youth, we are the new generation, we need more than just that one thing. We need multiple things. Sister Regina, I will have to agree on this. There's nothing to- I understand, but the reason why I said that is because you literally took doodle, you literally took crap and turn it into something that is profitable. No one's buying that. They were throwing that out. No one was eating that. They were throwing it out. Now you go and you hard pressed to find some that's not high priced. Okay, so I'm not saying everybody eats chitlins. Now that they've evolved and they can afford to eat better. More delicacies that cost $1,000 for one bite. Sean Anthony wants to be a chef, and he wants these things, these extravagant things that cost $1,000 just to get one bite. And you got to take tiny little pieces of bites off of it just so you can get your money's worth. But I'm not clowning it. If that's that person's thing, that's their thing. But the magic comes in where we take garbage, we take nothing and turn it into something. And it's old news to us, and we're like, look, we're trying to move past this. We're trying to move past this to something better. And they say, well, man, you magical. You can make that happen. No matter what we do to hinder you, you're gonna make this work. So yeah, make this work, and I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch how you do this. I'm looking for. I know, right? And I promise you, I love to laugh. I can't, I can't help myself. It's not doodoo. It is doodoo. It was doodoo with them goddamn chitterlings. I was just, I know, but it's like it's like it's like they a lot of people, a lot of African Americans, they get a little upset about the fact that white people and other cultures think that African Americans are magical. Like when the pandemic first happened, everybody was like, "Oh, black people can't get it. Black people can't get it," and they were killing people. They were killing African American people because they were trying to steal their essence. They were trying to steal their essence so that they didn't get the pandemic either, so they wouldn't get the virus either. And they laughter is the best medicine. Yes, and there's a whole doctor on that did a whole dissertation and things about that. So I totally agree. Who said it's nasty intestines? Anyway, they made it magical. They made it magical. I don't know about you, but if they had tell me what I was eating, I wouldn't known. I would have ate it. I would have kept eating it. I'm like, where's some more? Where's some more? You need me to go get some more? Man, that whole $50 bucket turned down to be one bowl. Like what? I better get at least one chitterling. One chitterling out of that whole bowl. I better get at least one chitterling. I paid $50 for that. So yeah, it was amazing that we turned something that nobody wanted into something everybody wanted to the point where it's so profitable. It was ridiculous. Like who would have saw that coming? And then they're like, oh, well, these African Americans, they must also be able to foretell the future. Foretell the future. So tell me my future and don't be wrong. Like, whoa, you gotta back up because now, you're putting this pressure on me. I can't work under pressure. This is coming because I'm not under pressure. This is coming because I'm just being me and I'm free to be me. So you gotta not with the pressure, back off with the pressure. So they was like, okay, well, we'll give you a sense of freedom, but really you don't have any freedom. We'll give you a sense of freedom. So what did they tell these women? They say, okay, for a while you can have the ability to control what happens to your body. No, you don't, because when women, we can't even walk the street. There was this one guy on Facebook, I think it was, and it's going viral. And he's trying to get into the car. He said he's emulating how women get into the car. And he has a purse, he has a drink, he has shoes and all kinds of things. And he's trying to get into the driver's seat of the car, all this stuff going through the driver's seat of the car, carrying all of this stuff, and he fumbles his way into the car. It spills everything out on, and I'm like, everybody's like, well, how in the world did you get all of this stuff in the car all at one time? At one time, it was safe for women to be able to say, okay, I got all these items I got to put in the car, and then I could get in. So they will put all the things in the car in a different door, and then they will open the driver's side door and get in the driver's seat. It's not safe like that anymore. Okay. I didn't understand that comment. But anyway, now it's like you have to explain, yeah, I would like to not spill everything coming through the driver door. Uh, but I would like to be safe and get to my destination. So I have to jump in the car real fast because now women have to use their keys as a weapon so they can get in the car safely. So yeah, I don't have time if I got all of these things I'm carrying in my hands. I got to get in the car, and I got my keys in my hand as my weapon. I don't have time to do nothing else. I got to get this car real fast. Got to hurry up, get in, and lock the door as fast as I can. I got to lock the door as fast as I can. I don't have time to be worried about how people thinking I'm hilarious trying to get in this car with all this stuff. And they just standing by watching. And you can't even really help and offer to help because I do. I still do. I help people. I'll be at a store and I'll see an older woman struggling. And I'll ask her, do you need help? And she'll say no. I say, it's okay. And I'll flash my ID so she can see. I don't mean any harm. Let me help you because I can see she's struggling. I can see she's scared. I can see it's dark, it's late, and she's scared. She's stumbling, trying to get into what she's trying to do. So she's trying to get her groceries in her trunk so she can take her groceries home and feed her children. And I'm like, look, sister, I got you. It's okay. See, this is my ID. This is who I am. Let me help you. And she's in tears, crying. Thank you. I appreciate it. And the problem with that is we're not addressing it to change it in a positive manner. It's a lot of women out here that's so vulnerable, they can't even go to the store and get their groceries so they can take it home to feed their children. And now you have it so you have incivility in the schools that people are getting shot up in the schools, and now it's spilling out into society where you can't even go to the store. to get groceries. And then people are like, well, we don't understand how this is happening. We don't understand where this has come from. You do understand because you're not addressing the problem. And the reason why you need to address the problem is so it doesn't continue to get worse in unpredictable ways. Now, African Americans might be a little bit magical, just a little bit, but we need help, inclusion. We need a little help by saying, acknowledging that yes, these things do need to change. Yes, we could do this a little bit better. Yeah, we can laugh and play, but we don't want to get distracted from the objective and the positive goal that we're trying to accomplish here. For example, if you can um if you can imagine a place where only the people who really want to collaborate well together were collaborating, how much progress would we make? With all the diversity that we bring into the table, where will we be? A lot of people were saying like China is they're so much more advanced than we are. They're so much more advanced. But think about this. It's a lot of them that are focused on the goal. They have people who are different faiths and non-faiths, but those people are getting along and they're advancing. They're advancing. What you say, Dustin? It's just saying that society. I know, but it wasn't so much that she didn't openly embrace the kindness, but we're afraid. We're afraid, my brother. I can't go outside. I can't go outside. Eddie don't even want me to go to the store. He don't even really want me to go out at the front porch without somebody knowing. We have cameras everywhere because it's just not safe. It's just not safe. And until we get more people mentally stable, mental well-being be a topic, maybe even for free, then it's not safe for us to just do what we normally do on a regular basis because somebody has to see. There was this one woman, there was a white woman, and it was on the news, and it went viral on social media. This white woman got pulled over by the police. The police was chasing her and chasing her and chasing her, and she didn't stop. And when she finally stopped, the police officer asked her, "Why didn't you stop when I first pulled you over?" That white woman said, "I had to stop somewhere where I knew there was lights, so it's well lit and there's cameras." He said, "Why?" He said, "Because the police are out here shooting people." That white cop looked at that white woman and said, "Don't you understand? We just shooting black people." So when anybody sees incivility, when they witness incivility, it doesn't just mess with the target because it doesn't have a target. It's messing with all of us. And unless we change it in a positive manner, it's going to continue to have unpredictable outcomes to the point where things like school will become obsolete because it's too dangerous. Nobody wants to go to another innocent person's funeral. Nobody. It's a shame. The kids get cut down before they even get a chance to find out who they are and what. It's not okay. And somebody loves those people. Women birth those babies, and we don't want to see no more children dying. We don't want to see our men dying. So we definitely don't want to see children dying. But we feel powerless to stop it. And the only thing that I can think to do is to fix the mental well-being of the community of the world, not just one community, but the community of the people who would like to work together, who would like to collaborate to make positive, desirable changes. That's all I'm saying. You can feel free to, be a QAnon theorist. You can feel free to be a person of non-faith. You can feel free to be a Muslim, a Christian, or whatever you are. But when it comes to business, the Bible says in business be men. When it comes to business, let's focus and get this job done. And what's the job? To move forward and progress. What is it? Because hate knows no color. Hate knows no color. It knows no gender. It knows no age. It's affecting everyone. Yes, it affects everyone indiscriminately and at the most inconvenient time. And we haven't even had, during this pandemic, we haven't even had much time for us to get together and love on one another. And you taking people out. You shrinking the population, and we didn't even get a chance to say goodbye because we're isolated because there's a pandemic going on, the virus. Now you have monkeypox that's out here. It's too much sickness out here. So you're trying to be safe and you're killing people. You're killing people before we even have a chance to say goodbye. And that's a problem that's going to mess with a lot of people's mental well-being. And whether you know it or not, it's history. It's a cycle. And yes, it has been historical where you would do well, this would be done, and a big backlash will come back from that. We can avoid that. We can avoid that. And it's not going to happen by us being like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, well, I don't understand. You do understand what happened. Stop saying you don't understand. And if you are in a position, you have a job, and you're in a position of power, of change, or authority, and you keep claiming you don't know, you have the wrong job. You need to be replaced. You need to be removed and replaced. And you should never be put back in a position of power again, power or authority. What you say, Dustin? I believe it's a lot of people don't understand that too. And that's it's good that you said that, Dustin, because a lot of people, let me show you something. We were created by someone, a higher being, a omnipresent being. And that omnipresent being put something in us of that person, of their being. And that in us is reaching back to that creator and is calling out. But when we muffle that voice, when we stifle that voice and say, I'm not going to do that, then we are unbalanced. We can't balance. And that's where we have the problem that builds and builds and builds because that's in us is reaching out to go back to where we came from, come back to where we belong. And you can't get there denying yourself. That's going to be a serious problem. You can't deny yourself and think that you're going to be okay because this is messing with your mental well-being. And though you may try to self-soothe, you're going to find yourself at an imbalance where you're going to have to eventually come to yourself. A lot of people come to themselves when they're crying. They in their room in their pillow crying. And that's when you're alone. And that's when some things come to you because you got along and that's in you crying out to the creator that created you. Now you hearing the answers. Now you getting the soothing that you need and the comfort that you were longing for. So whether you acknowledge it or not, this is what this is. What did you say? We are spirit and flesh. We have to protect both to live. Yes. Yes, because the mind is what's keeping us going. That's the mental that is manifesting things physically. So mentally, we are creating something. And by the words of our mouth, because the thoughts in our head, we are physically manifesting things. And that's what we see that's tangible that we can put our hands on. It didn't just come out of the blue. Nothing comes out of the blue. Nothing's coming out of the thin blue air. Something, it came from somewhere. And it first started with something intangible that was made tangible. Now, that's been my show for today. I want to thank everybody for coming and sorry about the glitch that kicked us off for a moment. But remember, you can always watch the recording and piece everything together. With a lot of people, the objective of this, what I'm saying here, a lot of people are crying, help, help, help. And they're crying in different ways for many decades now. And now it's to the point where people are out here being violent. How do we stop this violence? How do we stop it? We have to stop ignoring the fact of the people who are in positions of power and change and stop acknowledging, stop disacknowledging their involvement. Stop trying to act like they're not involved. They need to be moved. They need to be replaced. And if they're not for positive change, positive, desirable changes, you got to call them out and they have to move because we're not going to get where we need to be as Americans. As Americans, we're not going to get where we need to be if we constantly fighting ourselves and killing ourselves. We shoot ourselves in the foot. So we are hollering, help, 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 and we are hearing it. And if I have to give it for free, I'll put it out here for free. If insurance companies are willing to pay, then let them pay. But right now, there's a dire need, and we need guided perspective. So encourage those people who have the education and the training to get out here, get on social media and help. Just help for free. It's not going to hurt you. It'll help you more than anything because everybody's going to say at a time when the chips were down, guess who were there? Guess who was there? It was these people that were there. So patronize them when you have the ability to. When you get money and you get a good job, patronize that person because that person, when the chips were down, they put lives ahead of money. So yeah, get some people, get that guided perspective out here for free. Okay? What you say, Dustin? I know. If you got something to give it freely, give it willingly, and people are gonna remember you. They're gonna remember. And when they got the money to spend, guess where it's gonna go? To help build you up, to help patronize your ability to thrive so that you could keep doing the positive things that you're doing. Okay, we gotta go. That was my show for today. Don't forget, watch the past recordings. This is a progressive thing here. This is progressive. So watch those other recordings and don't miss a show. Thank you for your support, Dustin. Yes, always, always. And everybody else, Sister Regina, all of everyone that comes on here, we are always appreciative of you because without you, there we'd be hollering in the empty void. We'll be hollering in the empty void. But I'm still gonna put it out there. Why? Because somebody needs it and somebody needs it for free. So even if I'm not talking to anybody right now, right here where I can see it, I'm still gonna say it because it's necessary. All right. One love. All right. Got